It's been nearly 4 months since Cornelia Reynolds discovered the unthinkable. Her 8-year-old son dead in his bedroom. Gabriel had hanged himself from his bunk bed.
1 in 10 children aged between 4 and 12 have been diagnosed with a mental health disorder. If that many children have been diagnosed, how many must be suffering in silence? Their minds matter, and here's how we'll make them heard. We believe that the mental health of young children is often pushed to the side. This is not due to the lack of care, but rather a lack of knowledge and understanding regarding how to deal with it. We would like to explore what is causing so many young children to suffer at such an early age, how to help them if they are suffering, and what signs to look out for if they are. We spoke to Maddie, Tommy and Ethan, 3 children who struggle to control their emotions.
9.
And you?
10. Play dinosaurs. Play Fortnite. I do nothing, I just sit down fuming. Sad means terrified. Annoyed. When people leave me at school. Get angry and fight. When like someone has mental health and they go around beating everyone up. That I beat up everyone.
Both Tommy and Ethan seemed disengaged from their emotions and also believed that anger and violence was the best outlet for their feelings.
I'm 9 years old. My sister Bethany and my mum Tracy. And I like to play like Roblox or make PowerPoints about my family. And like people at school when they're being really horrible to me with like my friendships I have at school and things. Being happy is where something makes you smile and makes you want to do it like more and just makes you feel good inside. My family. It's where something doesn't make you feel very nice and sometimes it just makes you want to cry and you feel down inside. Like girls at my school when it's being really horrible to me and also when I'm left with no one to play with. Sometimes I write my feelings down in a notebook and that helps me, and also sometimes when I'm not at school I'll give my mum and my sister a hug and that makes me feel happy. Like that you're healthy with your like feelings, like you feel like good and like happy.
It is also clear that one major factor that affects children today is social media, online gaming such as Fortnite and Roblox, which didn't used to be available to young children. After speaking to them, it became clear that they were unaware of how to communicate their feelings in a healthy way, and also lacked understanding of what mental health actually is.
Yeah, she does actually. She talks to me a lot about how she's feeling. At the moment, she's having a lot of issues with children at school, mainly girls. They can be really horrible and quite nasty. A lot of it surrounds the way she looks. She's not confident in the way she looks. She thinks she's ugly. She generally lacks confidence in every aspect of herself. Definitely. Yeah, you can see it with my own family and friends. There's so many more issues with our children, and you can tell by the waiting list of the people that are waiting to see somebody for professional help. Definitely social media and the kind of thing that they have access to at such a younger age. An example for me would be my daughter. I let her play Roblox. There's strict rules surrounding it, but she's allowed access where she can, it's a means of her communicating with friends while they're playing a game. But where the nastiness would normally stop at the school gates, they carried on being nasty to her whilst playing the game. So subsequently we've had to block them and she's had to stop playing the game, and it's just heartbreaking because it was something she really enjoyed. Oh, start acting out. Can withdraw. I know with my own child there'll be instances where she suddenly has headaches and tummy aches and she doesn't want to go to school because of things that are going on at school. She's got hardly any self-esteem. She gets very, very sensitive if you mention any form of criticism at all, however slight. She gets very sensitive about it, and she'll either get very angry or she'll get very, very tearful. And she'll go off and spend lots of time on her own in her room until she's calmed down, and then she'll want to talk about it. I'll just be there for them. If I felt that I needed to take it further, then obviously my first port call would be the doctors and then go on from there. But all I can do at home is make sure that I'm constantly in touch with what's going on for her on a daily basis, and that I allow her the room to speak to me. I give her the space and allow her to come to me. And I'm just aware of what's going on for her. Yeah, my child's school is really supportive, so you feel like you can go in and talk to the staff there at any time, and they really take it on board. Yeah, definitely. And we see a lot of that in school now. We have anti-bullying week, we have kindness week, we have topics that very much touch on mental health, being aware of the signs and symptoms, and we seem to be starting younger and younger with that in school. Luckily, my child is somebody that talks to me about it, so we cover that area quite a lot.
Sometimes, obviously being my boy, I know how he's feeling really, you know, I can tell with the frustration and the way he acts. Sometimes he talks about it, and it's always, he swears quite a lot, it's kind of his way of expressing how he's feeling. And sometimes he's just very quiet and ignores it sort of thing, but he takes it out in anger and hits his siblings, throws things around the house, breaks things. So sometimes talks, sometimes doesn't talk. Yes, I do. I think technology's got a lot to answer for. Kids don't get outside and get enough fresh air and get out and about and do stuff. They're all obsessed with technology, phones, games, consoles. Must admit, I'm probably a part of that because they do play on their Xbox and PlayStation, but that's what they like to do, so that's the way of the world at the moment. Get him the medical help he needs. I've been, obviously as I said before, I've tried to get him into CAMHS for 3 years and still waiting for that. I think he does need medication and he does need some sort of support at school. There is the SEN worker within the school that he's at, and they do occasionally take him out and have a little chat with him to see what's been going on. He does have outbursts at school, particularly at playtime and lunchtimes, where if someone says the wrong thing to him, he will just go into a rage and act like a complete lunatic and ends up in the office, so he gets disciplined rather than spoken to and helped as to why, or you know, reasons why it's happening. He just gets told off. Not staff. He's never physically done anything to any of the staff, but he does other children. It is very physical, and he has hurt children and obviously been told off. There was a child that he actually gave a black eye to not so long ago and used the excuse that he was running into him and his arm was out like Superman. It's quite funny, but you know, it's naughty at the end of the day, but he didn't realise it was naughty. It was because he'd been told off, so he ran away like Superman, and that was the consequences of it. I think they see it as misbehaving. Because he's not been diagnosed, they do treat him like any other child and do discipline him for his actions. I think they should make it more known and teach them better in schools about not everyone's the same. People are different, people have different opinions.
We approached both CAMHS and a number of different primary schools for an interview. However, they all refused our request due to the topic's sensitivity. However, a member of the Youth Inclusion Support Team agreed that avoiding the topic would only worsen the problem.
So I work for the Youth Inclusion Support Project, which is shortened as YISP. So we work with young people from 10 to 18. Really varies. So the young people that I work with, it could be around antisocial behaviour, all the way to helping them support with confidence, managing their feelings, their self-esteem. So, I mean, we offer, we're very early prevention, so what we offer is to try and support them early on in life to build a bit of resilience, build those tools to be able to manage their thoughts, feelings and their behaviours like later on in life, really, I guess. I guess there's a lot of research and proof to suggest that's correct. Obviously, because of the area that I work in, I see that daily. So I would say yes. I think if you grow up in a deprived home, I think statistically, they're 4 or 5 times more likely to suffer from mental health problems. I think that could vary around poverty, like finances for them. I think family. I speak to quite a few young people, and I hear them so often, and they're very young. So I had a young girl that was the age 10, and her anxiety was driven around money and finances because she was worried that she wouldn't have enough money when she's older, and she's 10 years old. So I think environmentally, in terms of how the environment that you grow up in, some of our young people have parents that suffer from mental health as well. And I guess I don't think that would be the main reason, but I can imagine for them growing up in an environment where your mum might, for example, struggle with anxiety. I imagine because their children, they would look up to their family, their caregivers. So I imagine that would have a real strong impact. It could be due to bullying, because I know that that's something that a lot of our young people would say that they've actually experienced. I think social media now, I think unconsciously so, is putting a lot of pressure on young people to be a certain way, look a certain way, react a certain way. I would say when I first started working here, there were a lot older people that we worked with, but now we're having referrals for young people age of 9 that are coming into the age of 10, so we will work with them. So I think, 10 to 11, I'd say a good quarter, of our referrals now, and I think that is definitely on the rise as well. I think that's very much, it has increased. So the young people I work with, I think, again, it really much varies. That could be through their behaviour in terms of outbursts, so they could be showing signs of aggression, change in behaviour at school. Sometimes young people begin to isolate away, so not everybody is very outwardly with their behaviour, so they might show signs of isolation. Definitely behaviour change. Their mood, they could get quite low, not eating, so it really, really varies. I think statistically it's actually the conduct disorder that I think is actually more prevalent in younger people, in men, in boys more so than it is for girls. I think though, I think that probably now, I would say, conduct disorder is not something that maybe you'd be able to see as much. But I think I would say in terms of mental health, the ones that I think are more common, I'd say more like anxiety. And I'd probably say an element of depression as well in there. I think there needs to be some kind of programme for young people maybe to understand that you are going to feel these feelings and it's perfectly okay to feel these feelings. Not nice, I'm not saying it's a nice feeling to have. And look at ways they can cope with that in a healthier way. And I think that would definitely be something that perhaps would help them and help them to understand that we all have mental health. I think it's just how we manage that. Play therapy, for me, I think, again, I think no size fits all when you work with people, and I think play therapy enables young people in particular to express themselves in a different form. And I also feel like play is really a positive, not for every young person I work with, they might not want to do that, but it brings that child out in them. They might not feel like they're able to express. So if you're quite a shame-based young person, you might feel like you need to, again, those young people I talk about that grow up very quickly, they find that expressing themselves as a child is quite difficult. So I think within play therapy, it enables them to access that part of them that they might not feel like they're able to access at home or at school, and it's in a really safe and controlled environment, and they might have built that trust up with that person. So, and I think the real beauty about play therapy is that I don't really think that whilst I might interpret one thing, the young person might see it in a different way. So I think it's very interpretive for me, and I think for me personally, I think the main benefit is it allows them to communicate and express themselves in a completely different way, and enables themselves to be that child that they might find quite difficult or they might find unable to express.
Young children are more likely to impulsively attempt suicide due to the unexplainable feelings of anger and sadness. We can stop this. With adequate teaching of mental health, children can begin to reach out for help when they need it and deal with their feelings appropriately.